I just thought that it would be fun to see if I could do a quick morning pop-up live before all the craziness of my household starts this morning. I'm gonna see if I can get my camera all set up here so that I don't have to hold that. That would be nice. Good morning. It is a foggy one for me so far. It has been a long time since I have been on here, talked to anybody, posted anything. Life's been a little hectic, but that's just kind of where we're at right now. There's always something going on. Well, and I have a friend here who wants to come and say hi. I'm hoping he doesn't knock over my camera. Yeah, you just go sit on that chair. Thank you very much. But anyway, so good morning. Yeah, I think it looks like I'm going to be bombarded here by some kittens. I haven't actually told you guys yet that I got kittens. So that's something fun. I got 2 kittens. And it looks like they're going to come and visit me right now. But I figured I'd jump on here just for a little bit before my boys wake up, and thought I'd come out here, and it's a nice cool morning. Quite a bit of fog. Oh, here's a friend. Here's a friend. That's Chester. This is a newcomer to our homestead. Him and his brother Oscar have joined our family, and they're just so stinking sweet. They are outdoor kitties that we got to help with pest control. But yeah, let's see if I can do this. And there's Oscar sitting over there, but you can see the fog. It's a foggy morning. Say hi, Oscar. Oh, and then you can hear my weak new rooster back there. I just figured I'd try going live for a little bit. While my boys are still sleeping, I have my monitor here for when they wake up. But yeah, things have been very, very busy. And honestly, I kind of ran out of steam. I didn't kind of run out of steam. I definitely ran out of steam. It's fun. It's rewarding, but boy, is it hard. My camera's just a little crooked. It's driving me crazy. Let me see if I can fix that. There we go. So I am the only one that really takes care of all this stuff. I do all the caring of the animals, the caring of the children, the cleaning, the caring of the garden, the preparing of the garden, the weeding of the garden, which I had not done in a while. And so that got really out of hand. I started tackling weeds yesterday. And we have this horrible weed that I'm not familiar with. There's 2 of them that are prickly weeds. And they spread like wildfire. And they have these nasty barbs on them. And they just take over everything. So I've been pulling those out. And I don't know if I'm fighting a losing battle, but you know, I'm gonna try. I've been wearing my gloves that I got from, who are they from? They're from Ashley at CNC Farm. Actually, Dan won them. Dan from Handicapped Traveler won them in one of Ashley's lives. And he forwarded them off onto me, which I was so grateful for. And so I was using those. I've used them so much. They were these, they were gloves that had like the rubber on like the fingertips to like pad your fingers. And I've worn all that rubber off. So it's basically, I was hoping that the rubber would help me with the prickles on these weeds. And that is not the case because I've worn off all the rubber that's on them, protecting my fingers. So it's like I'm wearing nothing on my hands at all. But I started tackling the weeds in my garden yesterday. My garden is going bonkers right now, which is amazing. We've had crazy weather, really crazy weather. This winter, we had a lot more cold than was normal for this area. And I'm obviously new to this area, so I don't know any of this stuff firsthand, but my neighbors tell me that it is very unusual weather. So we were a lot colder than we normally are. And then we got really hot. And then we got a bunch of rain. And then we got a big drought. We didn't get rain for a really, really, really long time. And everything looked like it was gonna die. And then the bottom fell out again like last week. And we got a ton of rain again. But all that rain made my garden just take off, which was great. But it also came at a time when it was, Father's Day, then it was my son's birthday, my oldest's birthday. So we had a birthday party for him, and when it rains for a week nonstop and you finally get a chance to go outside and get things done in the yard, you get as much as you possibly can done. But other things like weeding, they fall, to the bottom of the list usually. One of the things that we got done recently was, you just saw, Mike made another Suscovich tractor, which we really needed. We had our little chicks, our newest chicks. There are 27 chicks back there. And those are like the Bielefelders and the Bards. And then we got, and those are what we got from Murray McMurray. And then we got, from Tractor Supply, we got 2 of each, like a Bard. We got 2 Bards, 2 Rhode Island Reds, 2 Silver Lace Wyandottes, 2 Blue Lace Red Wyandottes, 2 Olive Acres. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what all we got. I think that's it. We got 10 more from Tractor Supply. So there's 27 birds back there. And we had them in our shed in the brooder, and then we got the turkeys and we put the turkeys in with them. And then everyone got too big to be in the brooder, and so we had built a structure for, hopefully for our guinea, to go in, but every time we tried to separate out our guinea, they just went right back. So we're like, we're never gonna be able to separate our guinea because they're just gonna keep going back to their other enclosure. Oh goodness. Mornings. Lives. Wow. Okay. So we just had this structure in the back, and we ended up making it equipped for our turkeys. So we moved our turkeys out, and then we moved the chicks out, and we had them in our little A-frame that you guys have seen before. It's like the Franken-coop. That thing has been everything. It's moved from Illinois to my dad's house, and that's where my original 6 chickens were hanging out at my dad's house. We brought it here. It's heavy as heck. Ridiculous. But we put the chicks in there, and they quickly outgrew that. And so we needed to come up with a better plan. So Mike ended up making another Siskovich tractor, which we wanted anyway, but they have so much more room in there. So much more happy they outgrew that A-frame so fast. But I mean, there's 27 of them, and there's not a whole lot of square footage in that A-frame. So they're now in the Siskovich tractor, and doing very well. So we have the turkeys separated out from the chicks, but they're right next to each other in 2 different electric nets. I've been meaning to make a video showing you guys their progress, giving you an update on the chicks. But again, it's just one of those things you don't get to necessarily. So we did that. What else have we done? My tomatoes have gone bonkers, which is amazing. But again, if you're not paying attention, they get really crazy, and they crowded out my peppers. And they laid all over my peppers. My peppers are totally stunted. And I have cattle paddle trellises that they're supposed to be growing in front of the trellises to keep them away a little bit from the peppers that I have running down the middle of my beds. But they don't know what my plan is, and I wasn't there to guide them the direction that they needed to go. So they grew on the other side of my cattle panel and laid all over my peppers and stunted all my peppers. So I went around yesterday or the day before and tried to gently bend them over to get them up in front of the cattle panel trellis, because I couldn't find my trellis tape anywhere either. You can only do what you can do, right? So I was mostly successful, but I did top one of my tomatoes. I totally snapped the header right off. I'm hoping, I mean, it was one of my Dr. Weitsch's tomatoes, and because I hadn't done anything to trim it or anything, it has a ton of other leaders coming off of it, you know, so I'm hoping that it still pulls through for me, and I still get some tomatoes off of those other leaders. I hope they just kind of take over, but we'll see. But I got all the rest of them, I think, pulled over on the right sides. I gotta do another garden update because it looks so different. And my potatoes are looking okay, but those weeds that I was talking about, I don't know what these weeds with the barbs on them are. I'm not familiar with them. I did not have them in Illinois, not at least that I'm aware of, but they are like totally taking over my potato patch. And they are just covered in these barbs. And there's another, and something loves these plants to eat them, because a few of the plants are just totally decimated of leaves. They still have tons of prickles all over them, so it's still horrible to pick them. But something really likes them. Some kind of caterpillar or something really likes them. But my tomatoes are going really great. I haven't gotten any tomatoes yet, of course, because I put my tomatoes in the ground so late. I don't think I planted my tomatoes until June, you guys, which is just ridiculous. I mean, even in Chicago, I would plant my tomatoes by Mother's Day, but I just couldn't get it together. You know, I pushed so hard to get those garden beds built, and I did, but then I had to source soil to put in there, and it was hard to find soil to put in there, and the amount of soil that I needed, and I didn't want to just go to like a garden center and buy a bunch of bags of soil, because that would have been so expensive, and I didn't want to go to a garden center and get like a truck bed full of topsoil. Good morning, baby. No, you need to stay inside, okay? I'll be in a second, okay? I'm on a live. I'll be there in a second. And I didn't want to just go to a garden center and get a big truckload of soil and compost, because that would also be extremely expensive. So I found a guy that was a gardener that mixed it himself. And so, and he was kind of like, you know, he was a landscaper maybe, I think, and mixed it himself with mushroom compost. And it was $20 a scoop, and I ended up getting 3 scoops, which was a ton of soil. But I had to drive pretty far to get it. But that's what I ended up doing, but it just took forever for me to get my garden beds ready to plant in. So I don't think I got my tomatoes in the ground until June, which was, you know, it's better late than never, but I definitely would have rather had my stuff in a lot sooner. I don't know that I'll get any peppers that are ripe, but my season is long enough. I feel like I should. I don't know. It's just, you got to do what you can do, right? And it's better that I have them in at all than not do it. So I got lots to update you guys on that front. We also did get our storm shelter that I talked about. That was super exciting. I'm going to do a video on that. I just haven't had it in me to make videos because, like I said, I'm the only one caring for all this land and animals and gardens and things like that, and the children. So to do all that and take a video and edit it, sometimes you can't do it. You just don't have enough steam to do it. And since Hunter's been home, it's just one more thing to do and care for and stuff like that. So it's been a lot. And I've been wanting to just go live or make a short video and give a quick update. So I just decided that this beautiful morning that I have here, it's nice and cool. The sun hasn't come up over the trees just yet. I brought the boys out here yesterday, and by the time I got them out, the sun was actually just coming up over the trees, and I'm like, wow, just missed it. Hey, Canadian Family Life, thank you so much for coming in. How are you doing? I'm sorry, is your name Tiffany? Why does that sound right to me? I try to be really good with names. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. But thank you so much for coming in. Yeah! Yeah! So I haven't been able to make any videos or put anything up recently. I couldn't get around to it. But I do have a lot to share, a lot to catch you guys up on, and a lot's happened. But how's everybody else been? Michael's Adventures, good morning. Look at this cat. He's trying to play with me. So that's one of the things. We got 2 barn kitties to add to our farm. They are these orange tabbies, or American Standards, I think they call it. I don't know, because tabby's not actually a breed. But they're some sort of barn cat that my neighbor gave to me, and they're super sweet. One Chester has green eyes, and his brother Oscar has orange eyes, or gold eyes. And they are, oh God, don't jump on there. They're chasing bees. My bees are growing crazy. And I know in my last bee video I said that I wasn't going to be messing with them anymore, but I can't not mess with them. I've added 2 more boxes of frames for them to grow up into. They're just growing like crazy, which is fantastic. I have to do full hive inspections, and I don't think I'm going to film that because it will take me, I'm sure, probably an hour to get through just one box, and nobody wants to watch that. Watch an hour of me going through that. Maybe I'll take a couple clips and show you guys how they're doing. I did see a couple hive beetles in the one hive when I went and added a box of frames. So each of my hives is now 1 deep, which is that really deep box. That was their original box that they started in. And then I have 3 medium boxes. I think just 3 medium boxes above the deep on each. But they're growing great. One of them's a little stronger than the other, but it's interesting how that works out. But we've just been super, super busy. Our pigs are doing great. They did kind of escape one day. As we were moving them, I was moving them by myself each time. And Mike was home and we did it on a weekend. That it just fell that moving time was on a weekend. And so I was like, hey, can you help me come do this really quick? And you would think having another set of hands would have helped us to move them faster and simpler and more smoothly. But I think having like another set of eyes there, we both got a little lax on what we were doing. And we're like, oh, they're not gonna run away. We just like left the one net down and they just boop, 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 right out of the fence. And they ran onto, because we don't mow all of our grass. We have so much grass. We don't mow all of our grass. And so they saw all this tall grass and they were like, ooh, and they ran right to it. And they're big. They're getting big. I mean, they're supposed to get big. But we got them and they were like maybe 20 pounds. And then after a month, they were like 40 pounds. And I think they're probably already 50 or 60 pounds each. They're hefty and they're pushy. They like their food. They don't bite or anything, but they like bulldoze you. When I come in with the feed, they're like nudging me like, that's right, give it to me. And I'm like, hey guys, chill out. But they've been fun to have. My brother says that they are destroying the earth because they just like tear up my yard, and I have to like try to flatten it and fill in their holes and reseed it and stuff like that. But it's all just a learning curve for us, and we're trialing it, and it doesn't really bother me at all that they're totally destroying our grass. It's growing back, but I tried something new with their fencing. I gave them more space. I put them in with long grass to see if they would like the long grass any better. The Mike D Experience. Hey, good morning. Welcome. I'm gonna hope that it lasts them a little bit longer. It already has, because I was moving them every 3 days, which was exhausting. It was exhausting moving them every 3 days, but they've been there now for, I think maybe it has been 3 days that they've been there, maybe 4. Hoping to get a little bit longer out of them there, and then I'll readdress how I move them and what I do. But it sounds like my kids are getting up and I probably have to duck out of here, but it's nice talking to you guys. Hopefully I will get to making a video real soon here, and I will catch you guys later.